Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah.
We got it! We got it!
New 52 book.
Somebody clip this.
Welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm Jared. I'm here with my boy Robert. What's up, dude?
Yo, not too much, not too much. Can't wait for what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, so today we're talking about Frank Miller, arguably one of the most influential comic creatives, I think.
Arguably, yes.
Arguably, like this way, he's on the list if you have to name, because when you think about it, the first thing I want to talk about, he mainstreamed the more dark and gritty Batman, I think.
Mainstream, yes. Created, hell
No.
And I'll be honest, I am tired of people giving him the credit for that when he had nothing to do with that.
No, because it was Neil Adams and Daniel O'Neill that started it. It's just it became a mainstream thing. Like it became the public's perception of Batman, and by public I mean non-comic book reading audience. When it came to because I always say without Dark Knight Returns, 89 does not get greenlit.
Nope. Because Dark Knight and Killing Joke were the two books that he used as an example. Burton used an example of saying, I want it like this, not Adam West.
Well, I'm sure that the fact that Dark Knight was reviewed in the Rolling Stones helped as well.
Yep.
Very positively. So they're like, okay, there is something in there. But
But given the topic of what you and I especially love to talk about, it also had a bit of a negative impact in the long term. Not something that Frank created, but he expanded on.
What do you mean? Do you want to expound on
that? The Batman versus Superman. Now, again, by the time he came out, he did it in Dark Knight Returns. That was already going on in the Bronze Age by that point. But he's the one that everyone thinks about. And we also get the misconception that Batman can beat Superman.
Yeah, see, here's the problem with Batman.
Without the context of it, you realize, no, not even close.
And what's kind of funny is, I believe it was in Dark Knight 3 when Superman is when Batman's like, "Oh, Clark, let me win."
Exactly, but we'll get to that. But
yeah, but so why don't you? Tell me your experience with Frank, what are your favorite? Let's start with DC books that he's done.
I'll be honest. As much as I want to, I have not read much of his Marvel work. I have skimmed through. I've read the library, but I've never owned any of his Daredevil work, for example. None of it. As much as I want to. Every time I try to get enough money for the omnibus, they go out of print and then they're jacked up.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Or they're starting to release so slowly that a comic person wants to buy them all at once.
Mm-hmm.
But for his Batman stuff, I pretty much have almost all of it. My majority of his DC Batman, all of his Batman stuff, and Superman Year One. I even have, much to my chagrin, Holy Terror.
Whoa!
And I also have 300 and Xerxes, which we went over on my 300th lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
But Holy Terror, that was supposed to be a Batman book.
Yeah, but then it's they're like, you do not have Batman killing terrorists, so they're like, okay, well,
that's a big question. What came first? Did he go too far and they said you're not doing it, or did they or because the editor left and he went with them and he decided I'm just going to go free reign with it?
I think it's also because of DK2, because there was a lot of stuff in there that pissed a lot of people off, particularly the heavy-handedness. So I can imagine that played into the decision. Yeah, exactly.
Which actually, Pika and I went over it, and we kind of realized it's still like a 6 out of 10, but it's when you look at Dark Knight Strikes Again, there is good ideas, a lot of good ideas. There's a lot of great moments. Anything with Carrie, phenomenal moment. Anything was Carrie.
Well, here's the thing about Frank. He has fantastic ideas. Are they always executed right?
No.
No.
Like the Jason and like the Dick Grayson stuff. Here's what my theory is on the Dick Grayson thing, where he's this killer Joker-ized thing. I think he knew by that, even going into it, from hearing about all the other attacks, that he was too far gone. But Frank never makes that clear. As far as we think, oh, he always treated Dick like this. I'm like, no. If you remember, there's a line that was mentioned in the original Dark Knight Returns that he hadn't talked to Dick for like in 5 years, and right around the time when he had been retired for 10.
Yeah, exactly. The thing about that is that Frank has a tendency of using like throwaway lines to like explain plot points, like with the whole Batman hasn't killed people. And I'm just like, yes, you address that in like your writing, but if you make it just a throwaway line, it's really easy for people to like not see that.
Yeah, but I would say, again, focus on Dark Knight Strikes Again. Batman beats Superman's ass, but then later on, when he finally finds out that Brainiac and Lex have Candor, you actually see this look on Bruce's face. He's like, shit.
Yeah,
like, he just realized, like in that moment, he's realizing, oh, that's why you're this way. What the? It's just like in that moment, he's just realizing what he says. What more can they take from you? They took your city. They took your friends. They took Lois. What else is there left? It's Candor, is it? And then you see this look like, crap, I've been giving him shit. Which reminds me of their nice talk before their fight in Dark Knight Returns.
Exactly.
They're being buddies.
The other thing is that, on that, so DK1 kind of portrays Superman as like a government stooge, but here's the one good thing DK2 does. It tells you, it has a pretty Superman reason why.
Yeah, because basically everyone else is going to be shut down, and he was the only one. If he's going to be the only hero, he might as well. But then DK2 also showed the downside. It's just like any bill, anything you put through, in the government, it's good when you have the one regime. Doesn't stop the next regime from abusing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is exactly what happened with, and I'll say it's Lex. Feels like a dark and gritty take on the Silver Age mad scientist. Like Brainiac, I don't know where the heck.
Yeah, the frog Brainiac.
Well, not just the frog, just in general. Like, we even see a human where he's caring more about making money and everything, and talking about how much his mech cost. It's like,
well, wasn't it like in Golden Child, Darkseid was running for mayor?
Yep. This, and he brought back, and of course, this was done as a Trump allegory, of course, and that, Joker was meant to be Trump, and Darkseid was meant to be Putin,
of course.
Which I did not. This threw any of the goodwill he worked on from Dark Knight 3. This threw all that in the garbage because he built up so much with Laura, and then just reverted her back.
That's the thing he did multiple times throughout that, because if you notice in DK2 at the end, it's like, oh, okay, she's
with our planet.
Yeah, exactly. Then DK1, she's like, I'm not a human, I'm a Kryptonian.
Three, yeah. But even that though, but in that, Superman said, what should we do with our planet? And 3, oh, I'm just gonna go into solitude.
Yeah, exactly. And then she grows to like the planet. She's like, Father, teach me. And then she's like, and then in that book, she's like, I hate humans.
Yep, and same with Carrie even, and then Jonathan is just like, what the hell kind of kid is Jonathan? I think that was too much the anime influence. This felt too Akira-like.
Mm-hmm. I did like the way that like Grandpa draws Jonathan, where he's just like hovering as if he's like standing up.
Yep, and I'll say, I liked how he drew Darkseid.
Yeah, that was cool. And Tevia, before you watch this is a different Jonathan.
I think he knows. But like I say, but in the end, it's just like, it made no sense here. It made absolutely no sense. Now,
and the thing about that, I would have liked it if like maybe the Trinity show up once, maybe at the end. They just show up.
Speaking of a book with the Trinity, the first book and a half of this was good. The first book and a half of this.
I was talking to my co-host about that, and what she says that she feels like there was supposed to be a 4th issue that would have expounded on that.
From what I heard, there was supposed to be a 4th issue, but that's, I think, the second, last issue and a half were still what was planned. I think everything here was what was planned, or just one issue cut off. But
the other thing about that is that it goes from like Superman goes from girl to girl to girl to girl really fast.
And he never even acknowledges the other girls. In fact, in this
Yeah.
one, he goes from Lois right to Wonder Woman at the very end.
And then Wonder Woman acts like they've been in love for so long. She's like, "Come to me, you Adonis," and I'm like, "Where is this coming from?"
Now, you could, if only Frank had implied that she'd been watching her from afar, I would buy it.
If she had been doing that, but even the way the dialogue is done, it looks like they personally have known each other for a while, and that'd be one thing if like they did a flashback where it's like he met the Amazons when he like was traveling the world, say, or something like that, or the Atlantis. Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, but the first issue they have, like the very first issue, solid book. This entire first issue, completely solid. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. And to be clear, I like that book still. It does it have really weird moments? Yeah, but it's still fun.
With him in the Navy. The stuff with him in the Navy was the best part. Once he
that was cool. Where they made him a Navy SEAL. I'm like, okay, that's actually really cool.
How he learned his abilities and everything, why he got discharged. But once he goes to Atlantis, that's when it's like, okay. I also get this. You have Lana represents his childhood crush. Laurie represents his college year lust.
Mm-hmm.
But then Lois, I've said this about Frank. I think Frank has made this clear, and especially in that moment when Superman's digging through the rubble in Dark Knight Strikes Again, I do think he believes Lois is for Clark, but Wendy is for Superman, and Superman's the real deal.
Okay. So essentially, what you're saying is that Superman is the dude. It's not like Superman is who is like what I could do. Clark Kent is who I am.
Well, I think originally he was Clark, but then by the time he's an adult, and especially once he meets Wendy, he just tosses Clark from being a real person. I think.
But
because again, the first issue, he's Clark. He's not Superman. It feels like once he becomes Superman, Clark no longer becomes a real person in his eyes anymore.
But what's cool about that is that he addressed this in like the end of like DK3. Superman goes back to being Clark.
Exactly. So I think that's basically Milt Frank saying that once he gave up being Clark is when he started becoming, eventually leading to him becoming the lackey, the stooge.
Yeah. So let's discuss the elephant in the room: All-Star Batman and Robin.
Where Wonder Woman calls men sperm banks and everything.
Okay, so my co-host actually had a good point on that. She said that the dialogue makes sense if you think of this as from Batman's perspective. Like he's like, I wonder if that's how Wonder Woman talks.
No, we never get that though. We
again.
never get that. So that's a nice theory, but it doesn't make any lick of sense.
I do love where to fight Green Lantern, he paints the room yellow, and he's like, now, lemonade?
That's when I think the book got good. It's because that's the point. And too bad it was like 7 or 8 issues in.
At the very end.
Towards the end, anyway. It's not at the very end. It was like towards the end, where we finally get some character moments, where basically Dick almost kills Hal, and then you have Bruce be like, no. And then he's all like, this is my fault. I threw him in. I had Alfred. I had years to prepare, and I just tossed him and taught him how to kill without knowing it, which if you go by Dark Knight Returns, there's that line he says where I have 7 maneuvers, 3 of which will just knock the weapon out, 3 of which can kill him. The last one hurts, which defines Batman right there. Oh, yes, he has all the means. He could kill them. He could just disable them, but hurting them leaves an impact.
And I will say, I feel like if he had gotten more issues, in other words, if the series would not have been canceled, based upon that,
it just stopped. It was, to be honest, it never even got canceled. It just stopped.
No, I'm saying if there were more, I think we would have seen like at least that Batman abandon that psychopathic attitude he had in the early book,
which leads to another great one. The Last Crusade.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. I love that one
because that shows him looking back at the quote Linkara crazy Steve era, which is what people call Ashbar and all that. That when he was in back crap insane.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. He basically then looks back at it, and it's like I was young, I was stupid, he's acknowledging it.
Yeah, it was stupid of me to light someone on fire and have sex with Black Canary right next to a smoldering corpse.
Oh boy, Black
But you could say this Batman has killed people.
That's the big thing I always have to wonder. Was that truly it, or was that Jim Lee's artwork blowing it out of proportion when he slammed through those cop cars?
That's the thing about Frank. He can say whatever he wants, but I wish he had coordinated more with the artist, or if he's drawing the book, made the art a little clear. Because even with Dark Knight Returns, that's that you and I have debated with the gunshot. If he had put the bullet hole on the shoulder that was in frame, it would have been more believable to say, "Oh, he just shot him in the shoulder."
Exactly, but again, as you and I have said in our discussion, there's more evidence to indicate that he didn't kill him. Way more evidence. Like I said, Yindel doesn't bring it up, and she would. She wouldn't cover his
I had a thought on that.
All right.
So my thought on that.
Why would she when she's made it clear,
well,
bye-bye.
Not only that. So the way I kind of interpret that part of like her not charging on murder, because they don't have solid evidence to point in being, because remember, he fired using the criminal's gun and he's wearing gloves. As far as they knew, he didn't have the gun.
True. Okay, that's true. But this is Frank. Do you really think he put that much thought into that?
No, but I'm just explaining how I personally interpret it as he killed.
In universe, yes. But I'm just saying from how Frank, with given Frank's style of writing, he has shown if he really wanted to, he would at least throw in a bit of a dialogue or something. Like if Yindel really, given the type of character he was establishing of Yindel, and she would have lived, if he had killed that guy, she would have put it right on there. At the very least, manslaughter. And knowing her, she'll probably sooner assume that it was him who did it. Since, you have one guy knocked out, the other one, and they will probably found out from that guy who was knocked out. Did you shoot him? No, he was alive before I got clocked out.
But what would you really believe a criminal?
Given how they have a thing on for Batman, she's shown she would have taken that.
Yeah, but my point is like, the thing about Frank is that I think inadvertently he leaves a lot up to interpretation that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be.
Oh, heck yes. Yes, he definitely would. But at the same time, no, I mean, we're going to go into this debate again.
But the point is, let me put it this way. The reason why Frank is like one of my favorite DC writers has nothing to do with SuperWonder or Zack Snyder. It just has to be. I like the way he does like these epic bombastic stories like DKR, like that.
Brian Azzarello still gets credit, but I say he gets credit for keeping Batman Frank on track. But I do not thank him for any of the Superman stuff. He has proven more than enough times he doesn't get Superman.
No, he cannot. Even on that, I liked how he even got, for Frank in that book, finally got Wonder Woman, because she's not a man-hating thing.
That was probably Brian. I'd probably give Brian props to that.
Okay, that's fine with that. But the point is, to your point, because if you want to, because I always tell everyone, if you want to see Brian Azzarello's take on Superman, read For Tomorrow. The art is good. I love the art on that, but
that's the only reason why that book keeps getting reprinted is because of Jim Lee. That's the only reason.
Yeah, but with that, I'm like, Superman would 100% act in all the ways he acts in that book, except for going and like hanging out in the fortress and being frozen into a chair.
Oh yeah. But I do love how they give a reason. He's put in that black substance, and then he basically said it felt like he was in there for ages, and it's like he finally got his mind together. He finally got his thoughts together, and it's like, Aunt, do you want to save the world?
Yeah, he's like, what do you mean my people are here?
Oh, that was her. That was beforehand. I'm talking about after, when they put him in the that black stuff.
Yeah, I also really, really love, and I like how Frank, later on, I liked it, okay, the Superman one I don't kind of like, with the whole, it doesn't have a neck.
Oh, yeah, what the?
Or it has a mouth.
My guess is it's the mouth to keep his face, because you can't have anything touch him. And I think the neck is meant to run off. It's meant for runoff.
Yeah, okay, I can kind of dig
But
that.
again, remember, they're doing the Kryptonite Rain. Of course, we're going to have something there. But the fact that Bats had that ready and handy.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second here. I'm like, Bat was ready. He's like, on the off chance that there's kryptonite rain and I need Superman to help me out, I'll give him a
There's
suit.
crazy prepared, and then there's just stupid prepared.
Well, that's just Bat God. A lot of writers do that. Since Grant Morrison, it's like it's not even a Frank thing.
Yeah, and also here's something else. Did Yindel die in this?
I
They
think
kept
she
it
got
up in
like
the air.
shot by
She got
Bruno.
shot. Yeah, she did. But then there's a point where you have Batman cover her eyes, but at the same time, she makes a statement like, blood's pouring into her, like, I need the blood transfusion. So it's like, her dialogue makes it seem like she's alive, but Batman's actions treat it like she's dead.
It could be Batman thought she was dead, but she was later alive later.
Maybe, or maybe it's her final thoughts and she's just convinced herself she's still alive when she's like, no, she's dying.
Either way, you know what's kind of funny? She doesn't show up in the next book.
Nope. So she probably is dead.
Which, all right, that's fine. But in terms of like, so which of the DC books that he did do you think is the best? Me, it's DK3.
Yep.
Yep. That proved to me he gets it.
But again, the only thing that taints that is, again, the fact that Brian's heavily involved, so we don't know how much was which.
Well, we can at least extrapolate who did Superman.
Yes, exactly. Because again, and I will just say this: the whole idea of the Kandorians, loved it.
That's a fantastic idea. Where like a bunch of them, were, like the peaceful ones, died, and it gave rise to like some radical cult that's basically ISIS.
Which, given what we've seen in also the fact that means in Dark Knight Strikes Again, that means Kryptonian Kara died when the guy zapped and destroyed Kandor, because we thought she was. So we're like, oh, she's dead then.
Yeah, because that's a good point. There is no Kara in this universe.
No, there was.
There was. Wait, there was?
No, again, in Dark Knight Strikes Again, when Brainiac is taunting him. Now we see him have his machines kill off a random family, but which tells you Brainiac was smart enough to know, don't kill his direct family, because that'll put him in a blitzkrieg. Just kill off some random bloodline. Hold on, let me find it. It's when they're threatening Clark, and hold on. Which also, I say, leads to right here.
Okay, I guess you can kind of get that.
Yeah, it says, your compare cousin Kara.
Okay.
Oh, I love the detail here. Look at that. He clearly twisted the floor.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, let me ask you a question. In DK2, when Wonder Woman first shows up at the fortress, before she has sky sex with Superman, how are they communicating?
Telepathically is the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second here. This doesn't really make sense.
And
when does Superman have telepathy?
And how did he knock her up so fast? That's not how it works.
I think because they're operating under the Kevin Smith thing with the whole super sperm thing.
But it shouldn't be that.
It shouldn't work that fast.
And it wasn't Kevin Smith. That was Man of Steel, Women of Kleenex. That was before Kevin Smith. Kevin was just playing off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I hate that. I hate that theory because it's shown.
Of course you do.
No, it's not just. It's also because it rubs in the face of saying that Superman cannot have any control of his strengths when it comes to stuff like even the subconscious level type of thing.
Oh yeah, that. What I essentially go with in terms of Lois, I think he could moderate his strength. I just think Kryptonian DNA is incompatible with human.
Oh no, that's fine, but that's not the point of Man of Steel, Women Kleenex. Man of Steel, Women Kleenex, the whole where I shoot right through her. Like
I don't buy that. I'm sure Superman would be able to hold himself back.
But not only that though, but what makes them think that ejaculation would be like a bullet?
That's a good point. I'm like, wait a second here. Where's that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get any more disgusting details.
Yeah, we're not gonna. But the point is, you at least agree with me that like at the very least, the biological compatibility doesn't work. That's why.
But how could that apply to someone like Wonder Woman, who is, well, yes, depending on which version you go with, if she's a demigod, but still
Technically,
human.
technically, biologically, she's not like human because even in the clay origin, it's magic by the gods.
That doesn't mean that would make her just universally compatible with all genetics.
Well, it doesn't mean that. I'm just saying.
Oh no, I don't. I'm just pointing that out.
No, it's true. It's just that's the way I kind of justify it. At least it's like this way. It makes more sense than Convergence because here's why. I get Clark was depowered, but that doesn't change the fact that he still is Kryptonian. He still has Kryptonian DNA.
Which given out Jeff Johns made it clear they weren't compatible, but then I guess Jurgens had to be they were compatible. I think that's what they're going for. It depends on the writer if the genes are compatible or not. And I guess Jeff Johns was trying to go for one, and then Jurgens was like, oh no, it is. Which, to be fair, Jurgens was around way back during Armageddon 2001, where they did that one annual issue showing a possible future where Lois did get pregnant, but the kid kicked so hard it caused internal bleeding, and then they both died.
Oh wow! But I mean,
that's the one where he gets together with Maxima then.
Oh wow! And that's the post-crisis, right?
Yeah, and that's the one with them kissing on Lois's grave.
Oh God! What the hell? Well, see, that's the thing. That's more on Jeff in order for like them because it's like he wasn't like he wasn't like the first writer to like deal with that.
Oh no!
However, no. I don't know. And to be clear, what I'm about to say has nothing to do with my feelings about a certain reporter. I just think it makes more sense that he wouldn't be biologically compatible with humans.
Oh no! Again, you're not the only one to think that. That's why I am not against that. You're not the only one. There have been others who think that, and it makes a lot of sense completely.
Yeah, because here's the thing. As far as we know, outwardly he's human, outwardly, but internally he could have all these different organs.
Yep. Here we go. Hold on. Let me show you the cover.
Okay, let's do this. All right, here we go. This is going to be interesting. All right. I think I found my new favorite comic cover. I'm only kidding.
Really? Even though it's Maxima?
I gotta be honest. As much as I think that's hilarious, it's kind of mean.
But it's an attention-grabbing cover. That's the point of it. It's an attention-grabbing cover. Also, it was Louise Simonson that wrote this one.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting about that is that
Brian Hitch did the artwork.
Oh wow, I didn't know he was active at DC back then.
Yep, he was.
All right. Speaking of a fantastic writer, by the way.
What is it? Art? Yeah.
And artist. But yeah, I think it's kind of mean-spirited to do a cover. Yes, it's clickbaity, let me put it that way. But it's like, why would he make out with a girl on his wife's grave?
Oh, that's true. Especially someone that's more skimpily clad than even Wonder Woman has ever been at her worst day.
And why is he with Maxima?
I think they were I think they were going with this because basically the whole idea that showing it the only way that Maxima could get together with him, and that was to be on the rebound.
But still, it's like, let me ask you this: do you agree with me that at least Wonder Woman's a better match for him than Maxima?
Yes, but you got to blame the Wonder Woman editorial on that one.
Yeah, it's like.
They were protective. More so, it was the Wonder Woman editorial. It wasn't the Superman editorial.
I heard the opposite.
I've heard it the other way. We both heard it the other way. I've always heard that it was the Wonder Woman ones who were like, nope. Because why else would they be? Because it was the Superman officers that had the initial idea in the first place to build up to it for Action 600.
And not go through with it, I take it.
When they got the 600, basically 599, ended with Superman planting one on her because they have been building up that he's had this crush on her ever since he saw her during Legends, and then he planted one on her, and then comes 600, and it's like, what the heck?
It doesn't. I don't think they were actually planning on doing anything after that. Honestly,
well. It's also Wonder Woman. It's basically like we did our first proper meeting, and you do that.
I don't know.
And of course, he apologizes. It's basically a case where, again, he's never met anyone like her before.
Yeah, but my point is, of the two, it's
I agree.
It's still Maxima. I'm like, wow.
I agree. Again, I agree. But chances are he probably felt like I want to leave her and everything. And she's just like, come with me and I can help you. Yeah.
I will say, I wish that they gave Maxima a more dignified, like, existence than when they said, you're the clone.
Oh, you don't get me started. But at least she went out with a heroic death. A bit of a pointless one, but still heroic.
I was about to ask, they killed her?
In Our World's at War, remember?
Oh, yeah. Ah, jeez. But anyway, back to Frank Miller. So then we get to
But yeah, with Aspar, just one thing with Aspar, I think it just was a case where he stretched it out way too long. Way too long, putting in way too many subplots that went absolutely nowhere. Heck, the way he handled Joker doesn't match up with any of his takes on Joker.
Yeah, I don't like the tattoo having sex with a lawyer and then strangling her with a belt Joker.
No, but I did, again, I liked him in Last Crusade. Just this whole Hannibal Lecter-ish kind of, you know.
There's also Poison Ivy there. I like that one too.
Oh yeah, that one there too. And Killer Croc being closer to his old mobster days.
I dug that. So then we get to Golden Child. The art is great. Let me put it to you that way. I love Grandpa's art.
Yeah, Raphael.
It's just, I think this is, see, this got in, and I like that design. It gets into the problem I have with Greg Rucka. This is when you're like, okay, do we get it? Stop beating me over the head with these politics.
There's that, but again, Frank's a contrarian. You knew all that. That's his politics. He's a contrarian, always has been. It's why some of his politics seem to go right wing and why others go left wing. It's because he's a contrarian. But yeah, I mean, again, and his dark side was intimidating, but why is he messing with Earth's power? It's all right up there with why is Brainiac dealing with, again, Lex made sense, but Brainiac?
When I was reading the book, my first thought was, why is Darkseid run? Why would Darkseid run for mayor of a small city when he could take over the whole planet?
I don't, again, because then we wouldn't have the Trump allegory.
I will say though, the great part about that book, I love when they do the whole Darkseid actually can't die. He just turns into a cloud thing.
Oh, and basically he came back even more powerful.
Yeah, I dig that. Because that's one of my favorite things about Darkseid is that you technically cannot kill him.
And yet then they depower him and everyone beats him up.
Yeah, you had that kick-ass moment. And then even after Lara saying, we'll see you later.
Did Lara die at the end?
Yeah, I'm like, wait a second. Because they said with the Omega effect that when you're hit with it in that book, you get wiped from all existence. How is she going to see him again?
And yet, though, we say, be calm, sister. Stay calm. I have you. I have you.
So you think like John is that powerful that he was able to like save her?
But then he says, like, we're going away now. Much to do. Make things right. Did they ascend?
Did they become gods? Did they become new gods? They became the new gods. That's the thing. That's the thing. And I'm like, that's why I think maybe could we get a fourth book to like explain what the hell happened? Or
well, he does still have under contract one more book. And I know one of two more projects. The other one that's still in the works is that Carrie Kelly young adult graphic novel he's doing with Talon Caldwell.
Okay.
Which, again, anything was Carrie, except for this. This is the worst he's ever handled Carrie.
Yeah, I know. And it's weird because even Catgirl Carrie was good compared to that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially her dealing with that one guy who did murder and everything. And I just love it. How it's just like, you know, they're the Stooges. We don't kill the henchmen. We don't kill the henchmen. Things like that. And then she took the guy down, but then she walked away and threw up because she was just like, why? You know, I had to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's the thing. See, Frank Miller is like a more talented Tom King, and what I mean by that is that when he gets it, he gets it. When he doesn't, it's kind of egregious.
But I will say this: I have to also agree with a point Linkara made. Once he did Sin City, he's never stopped writing Sin City. When you really look at it, look at all of his work post Sin City. Almost everything has had a taint of Sin City on it. Even Dark Knight Strikes Again. Look at Martian Manhunter. He was pretty much Marv.
Yeah, that's true.
And he would all these inner monologues with the constant repetitions and everything. So much of that was based, you could so tell was a Sin City thing. Being so blatant with his politics. Sin City again.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And all that. I mean, yes. And like I said, the way Laura is here, like I said, just makes no sense with how Dark Knight 3 ended.
Yeah, exactly with Laura. Yeah, because again, she like ping pongs as a character, and that's the thing. I mean, it's cool to like see the book from like to like have a story from now the super kids perspective. That's cool. It's just you have to make sure it acts consistent.
Now I will say maybe it's all you could look at it that she was all gung ho for it. On, I had a sneeze coming. Sorry, she was so gung ho to be taught how to do it. And then after, like any teenager afterwards, she's like, "Oh, this is gonna take too long. Forget it."
Yeah, or maybe she, or maybe not even like it. She realized it was gonna take too long. It's like she got a good look at humanity again, and was like, "Nope."
Now, here's what I will say: can you at least agree with this? Raising a even half Kryptonian by Amazonian standards is what bit them in the butt by Dark Knight 3. Let's be honest. All that upbringing and having no Clark being involved at all until they met in Strikes Again probably explains why she was so easy to be taken in by the cult.
Yeah, and at least they address that in the story. That's cool. It's just again, now she's with Clark. And they don't actually follow logically that.
Well, by this point, I'm going to talk about her events. Remember, they first met together in Dark Knight 3 properly. And I just love that, like, so how about sex? Excuse me? Sex. I have a whole bunch of questions to ask you about. Mom always said, wait until you talk to him. So sex. Never with humans. They're fragile.
But
I mean, given how they bang so hard, they call, him when he bangs so hard, they caused tsunamis
and tidal waves. Yeah, I love that. But in terms of that, see, I would hate that if they didn't address it in like a subsequent book where like she is taken in by a cult and stuff. It's like I'm not a like Amazon, I'm a Kryptonian and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, I can kind of dig that. At least you addressed it.
But well, I'm just saying because she was bred, given these type of Amazonians, warrior. Like a warrior, and that's what her mindset is. Her mindset is being a warrior. But when you have that much power, having a warrior with that much power is more likely to make them have those thoughts of, I should just kill them all because it's so easy.
Yeah, when you don't have the Clark Kent upbringing, and
which no fault on Diana. No fault on Diana. Because even Diana had the mindset of don't murder. Even she had that.
Well, even Diana, throughout the backups for Dark Knight 3, and this is how I know that Frank also got Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman is even teaching her daughter not to be so much of a hardened warrior all the time.
Exactly. But the sad thing is, though, she and the other Amazons brought her up that way, though. So it's like kind of little too late. Hey, Diana, you kind of realized too late your folly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think it was, where like Diana's like, oh no, what have I done?
Because you probably thought, oh, she'll be able to become like me. She didn't take into account the power getting to her mind. Because basically it's like, you didn't raise a warrior, you raised a goddess. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah, exactly. And then she eventually like figured out. So let's briefly transition to Marvel, because if you want to talk about
it's Daredevil stuff has always been incredible.
Yeah,
I can never think of much flaws with it, to be honest. From what I have read,
I mean, I read the origin he did for Matt,
the Man Without Fear. Which was supposed to be a movie. That was supposed to be a movie treatment.
Didn't they kind of do that in the movie with Affleck? Kind of.
Sort of, but I don't know. I'm talking about, though, the actual comic was a treatment that and pitch that Frank was going to do to Hollywood. This was after RoboCop and everything, which I got to say, you'd like his RoboCop stuff.
I got to check that out. All right, so it's kind of funny. So you know what? So someone asked Zach what Marvel projects he would like to do, even if it's like Elseworlds. It doesn't have to be MCU. He goes, "I would love to do for Frank's Daredevil and Electra."
Of course,
I could see Zach doing that and actually doing well with that.
I'll be honest though, have you seen the director's cut of Daredevil?
Yes.
That showed that the director actually got it. He understood it.
Fun fact. So for the longest time when I was watching Daredevil, I was like, why do people not like this? This movie's good. I didn't realize I was only watching the director's cut.
Yeah, once you see the theatrical cut, then you're like, oh, especially.
I saw it once and I'm like, now I see it.
Especially how it went from being a revenge thing to a you got my girlfriend. That's exactly how the director put it. Once you removed all of it, it became him going after King Bones because you killed my girlfriend. Yeah,
exactly. And yeah, is the movie still perfect? No, because the CGI is still dodgy and like he's jumping around, but the plot makes a lot more sense.
And Coolio was good in that.
Exactly.
Now, if we're talking about Frank, Sin City. I still like it. But can I tell you this about the movies? You know what my one problem I have with the second movie is Ava Green.
Really?
I feel her problem is she's too okay. You know how in the first movie, Jessica Alba, Nancy was supposed to be completely naked when she's doing her cowgirl routine in the comic. But Jessica Alba was like, no. So they kept her in the cowgirl regalia, and it was way better in my opinion. And actually, you remember Jessica Alba with the music blaring, doing her cowgirl routine and everything. So good. But because she said no to the nudity. Ava Green seems like the type of woman who says yes to anything, even if it's nudity. And just the nudity in that just felt too egregious. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a prude. I am not a prude, but there's something about having just constant nudity. The woman just walking around and everything, especially when, I'm sorry, her characterization was not that good in the first place. Just felt off, you know what I mean? Like, especially when you could have done other things to make it look more artistic. It just felt like nudity for the sake of like, hey, she wants to do it, let's get away with it.
Okay, I can kind of see that.
But she was better acted in 300 Rise of an Empire than she was in Sin City 2.
Yeah. Well, it's speaking of great, it's kind of funny. I first read the comic book for 300 after watching the movie. So in my head, all the actors' voices are playing, and I'm like,
oh yeah, I did the same thing. Same thing.
Straight screen to straight page to screen.
Oh, it is. At least for 300, not for Xerxes. Xerxes
not for Xerxes.
Xerxes, as you remember when we went over, pretty much just covered the first 2 issues barely.
Yeah, but when I was reading 300 for the first time, I was genuinely surprised when literally practically everything is in the movie.
Exactly. Pretty much everything with just some expansions, which worked.
It worked for the world they were building, like the giant elephants, the Xerxes having like that goat head guy, and I'm like, it makes sense.
And Xerxes having less piercing.
Yeah, it makes sense for the story that Zach was. Let me put it this way: it's one of those things where they make slight changes, but it makes sense in the context of the story.
And let's be honest, there's no way in hell anyone's going to go through that much piercing. Let's be honest, no way in hell would any actor go through that.
Yeah. But all in all, okay, would you say Frank has had an overall positive impact?
Yes. And I think he's still doing good, strong work. Like, Ronin 2 wasn't that bad. Wasn't that great compared to the first Ronin. But see about this, with Ronin, we never would have got Samurai Jack.
Yeah, exactly.
People forget that. We would never have gotten Samurai.
And without Daredevil, we would never have gotten TMNT.
Yep. Both figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. One last thing I want to show. One of my favorite Frank Miller books that doesn't get enough love.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see what you got.
Well, let's wrap up with this one.
Okay. Martha Washington.
Yep. Give Me Liberty and all the stuff he did was Dave Gibbons.
Oh, that's cool.
I've gone
What
over
was
this
that one about?
Oh, basically it's set in the future. Basically it's going off of the idea of what if the politics went a little different? What if we first had a Green Party win out first, and then that eventually led to a extreme Republican overhauling things, being all but fascist, like all but. And then eventually, having all this power in place, and then you get a guy who's a very environmentalist, leftist takeover, and it's causing a whole bunch of things to collapse. But let me put it this way.
Oh, it's like essentially what would happen if all these extreme parties took over?
Well, that's in the background. We're also following this woman named Martha Washington, who's a badass. And I'll be honest, she's Frank's best female character since Electra. That isn't without having her be a hooker or anything.
Yeah.
But the funniest part is that I still find hilarious is that by the end, you have the entire world divided, and yet the divided world matches kind of the state we could be heading towards these days. For example, where is it? Here it is. First of all, look at this. Look at the world divided.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you have get this. The First Sex Confederacy. Basically, the former First Lady declaring that everything wrong in the world has been caused by men. And basically, things like that, saying like order bans on pornography, marriage, sexist remarks, and negative role models.
Oh, wow.
Boy, what does that sound like, right? Or you have Real America, which is where the fast food restaurants have taken over.
Okay.
You have Wonderland, where all the animatronics in California have come to life. You have God's country, all the religious zealots.
That's kind of like Scott Snyder's Undiscovered Country. It kind of sounds like.
This was in the 80s, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's what makes it even more hilarious.
Yeah.
This was
it's kind of funny. It's pretty spot on when you think about it.
Exactly. But yeah, eventually it expands a bit more. It goes from that, and then it goes into, we have a bunch of backup stories, or short stories, and then he has a couple of other miniseries that further follow things along before it ends with Martha's death that he and Dave Gibbons just decided to do out of the blue. No one saw it coming. No one knew it was coming, but it happened. It was a very short story, and yeah, just gave a farewell to her. But yeah, that's why you have the Life and Times.
Yeah.
This is definitely one of Frank's best works, and it helped that he probably had Dave Gibbons on artwork, who's able to bounce off ideas, and much like Walt Simonson, much like, Jessica Alba in a way, would push back if things got too egregious.
Yeah, it's like Frank is one of those creatives like Bruce Timm and like to a certain degree Zack Snyder that
never give him yes men. Never give him yes men.
Yes, they work best when they have people to say, okay, it's a good idea, tweak it a little bit to make it better.
Tom Taylor's the same way.
Yeah,
he's one of those creators where
Tom King,
Mariko Tamaki. All of these creators can bring out some of the best writings if you have a leash on them. And like you said, Zach falls under that. Let's be honest. You don't want
yeah. I'll be the first to admit that. Now, the one creative where I think needs that less is Jeff Johns, except for Wonder Woman.
Well, as long as he's with Alan Heinberg, like he was for the first movie, and the
I meant in terms of comics, but do you know who has a writer's credit?
I'm saying Alan Heinberg also co-wrote the initial script for the first movie. Is what I meant.
And you know who else co-wrote the story for Wonder Woman 1?
Who? Zack?
Zack Snyder. There you go.
I'm aware, but
I like to point that out.
Yeah, but yeah, Frank's influence for good and for no, I just realized we did miss one whole bit.
Oh.
The Superman versus Batman. We brought it up at the start. We didn't go further with it.
Okay, let's do it.
The misconception that people keep thinking, oh, this proves Batman can beat Superman.
No.
People forget. One, Superman was about ready to beat him. If it wasn't for the fact that he basically, remember, the whole point of that fight was to fake his death to appear like suicide by cop.
Well, here's the thing also, and say what you want about Batman versus Superman, that fight, he sums up perfectly. Stay down. If I wanted it, you'd be dead already, dude.
Yep, and yeah, exactly. And that but the fact you have so many people who keep saying like, oh, proves it's like, especially all like, remember the man who beat you. No, he's saying that because he then gave himself a fake heart attack.
Yeah.
He's like, I won because you didn't capture me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he meant by not.
He's not beat me. He means like I won the argument, supposedly.
Well, granted, he did beat him because of the kryptonite gas, but even then, though, it's still a case where it's like, you're having all these internal thoughts like, come on, Ollie, I got him angry. Like, if Ollie didn't shoot that arrow, Bruce was going to be slap against the wall.
Yeah. So it's like, I've long said that without prep time, or like really when you think about it, Batman really can't beat Superman.
And even then, now granted, Dark Knight Strikes Again would go to the opposite, would flanderize it, but again, throughout all the two do care about each other as friends.
They're best buds. That's what's tragic about that scene in DKR.
Yeah, it's like he had orders. Why did he have orders? Because Batman humiliated the government. It Gotham was the only city that wasn't still in riots.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to say, go and take care of him. Now I also got what Reagan's point of view is. The whole like, well,
was it really Reagan though? Because I thought in DK2 it was revealed.
That was afterwards. Remember, that's still a few years after DKR. Which even though the technology seemed to progress decades,
it's weird.
But like I said, the fact that let's be honest, you gotta put the blame on Dark Knight Returns for everyone having that. And unfortunately, it also didn't help the viewpoint of Batman hates Superman, which again was already being built up, but this just torpedoed into the stratosphere.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you that ultimately Superman has to let Batman win for Batman to win. But anyway,
which Tom King said that. Remember, I let him win. Why? Because if you knew Batman, you'd understand.
I know.
Okay.
I can admit when Tom King does stuff right, it's very rare. But anyway, so Robert, where can everyone find you, and what have you got coming on your channel?
You go to my channel and watch all my Pro Teachers Noob stuff. I'm coming closer to my 400s, where we'll be covering Jonathan Hickman's Secret Warriors. Of course, Jared and I have been covering the Electric Blue stuff. We'll be getting back to that soon. But we also have in the can Lex Luthor, Man of Steel, and I drag him and Tavia into going over Superman, Wonder Woman, Whom God Destroy,
by Chris Claremont. Now, again, it's one of those books where I'm like, why?
What?
Yeah, it's one of those books I'm like, why, Claremont? Why? You're a good writer.
Yeah, and that's the one where we get Nazi Wonder Woman and Lois Lane as the new Wonder Woman. So you can tell how much he felt about it.
Yeah. So anyway, everyone, stay heroic. Be sure to like and sub to Robert. His links will be in the description below. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. So is the Maxibat for life. See you later.